What's up, you guys? Scrappy. I'm back again with another video. For this video, I'm gonna do 5 things I wish I had known before I started dreads. They attributed to some of the mistakes I made before I started trying to obtain dreads. So I just want to share them with you guys real quick since I'm bored before I go to work today. All right, my number one thing I wish I had known was the methods by which it takes to procure dreads. Like free-forming, interlocking, twists, and then like the various other methods like rip and tear, rip, twist, I think that's what it's called, back combing, that kind of stuff. And I wish I had known more about all of the methods that you could start dreadlocks with, because it wouldn't have costed me time and money at the beginning stages. Because before I had this set that I have right now, I had 2 prior sets that did not work out by like any means. They just didn't work out. My first set was a set of interlock dreads, and the interlocking did not work out. I didn't realize, like, because I hadn't done enough research prior to contacting the person that interlocked my hair. I hadn't done enough research about what interlocking does to your hair, and it creates little knots in your hair that are technically, they kind of look like dreads, but that portion of your hair, when it's tight like that, isn't actually dreading at all, because it's not able to interact with the other hairs. And so they don't stick together like they should, like regular dreads. Therefore, they look a little more like braids than actual dreads on my head. I got a lot of like ASAP Rocky jokes, and I don't look like ASAP Rocky, not at all. But I got a lot of savage friends that were really flaming on me for like a week, till I finally decided that these were not going to work out. I got great friends. The other number 2 was the products that you use for dreadlocks. Again, I didn't do a whole lot of research because when I did my second set of dreadlocks, which were, well, like dreads, but really they were just trying something. They were a set of twists, and the twists didn't work out because my hair does not like wax at all. Like, it doesn't respond well to it. The hair, yes, well, it did like stay down and twist. It wasn't really even my hair, it was my scalp. My scalp got irritated really quickly because it wasn't allowing my scalp to breathe. And I further coupled that by, I took a road trip out to California to take my kids to see the beach for the first time, and my head got really hot and it melted some of the wax onto my actual scalp. And while I was there in California, I had to take my dreads out. They were really irritating my scalp. I had a lot of buildup on my scalp, and I don't know, they just didn't work out. Maybe if I had stuck with it, they would have worked out, but honestly, it wasn't even really the style that I wanted anyways. I was kind of shooting for more of a freeform look to begin with, and they were just like really itchy. Like all dreads are going to be a little bit itchy. That's just part of it. You guys got to learn to deal with that. And after a while, your scalp gets used to not being combed as much, and so they won't be itchy as much. But that was like crazy, the twists. So that's the second thing, is I wish I had known about the products that you can use in your dreads, because like certain shampoos will cause buildup. Certain products that you use to twist your hair will cause buildup. Certain products that you're using, like conditioners, will actually loosen your dreads, and they'll make it so that your dreads don't dread at all. The best way I had it explained to me was like, if you put spaghetti in a pot, right, and you put oil or butter in the pot, and you pour out the water after the spaghetti is cooked, the spaghetti won't stick together. Well, in this analogy, the spaghetti is like your hair. If you put a lot of products like conditioners and stuff like that in your hair won't want to stick together. Even if you're doing freeforms, your hair won't want to stick together, and so it's going to take a lot longer to lock. The funny thing about that is if you put a lot of stuff in your hair, like a lot of oils and stuff, it may appear that your locks aren't, like, all fluffy like mine are, but they're not actually locking. The hair is just sticking to itself with the oil, and the second you wash it, you'll notice that your hair puffs up and gets real afro-y if you've got afro textured hair. And that can be kind of a little disappointing to somebody who was looking to, have a real set of locks. So that was number 2. Number 3 is the confidence it takes to rock freeform locks, especially. Like any starter locks, it takes a lot of confidence, but especially freeform locks, because people will just judge you. They judge you a lot already in life. That's just how life is. But especially when you have freeform locks, people tend to want to give you advice that you don't need. I had a lady, for instance, that I was talking to one day that said she knew where I went wrong when I started my dreads with this particular set here. And I kind of had like that look like, the fuck is she even talking about? But she, I guess she thought maybe I had twisted my hair or whatever, but she said, you didn't section right, and you didn't, you didn't leave the clips on long enough, so now your roots are all unmaintained, and that's not really a good look. And, I just told her, there are multiple ways to lock your hair. And I think that a lot of people that aren't in the lock game, they're not going to know that there's a lot of different ways that you can lock your hair. It doesn't just have to be twists. It doesn't have to be, the back combing and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be any of that. It can just be free forming, or it can be crocheting, or it can be whatever you want it to be. But there's a lot of different ways to do it. And so not every way is the same, and not every way is built equally. And the end game for those different methods are going to be different. They're all going to look a little different. And then number 4 is the itch factor. What I mean by the itch factor is just like the insane amount of itchiness it has when you first start your locks. These days, my hair doesn't itch very much. For the most part, my hair, it's kind of settled down, and it's really your scalp that's going to itch. It's not even really your hair that's going to make it itchy. It's your scalp. And your scalp will get used to your washing routine. The one advice that I can give you is, if you're washing your hair a ton already and you're just starting your baby locks, maybe hold back and back off of that really crazy washing routine, and wash your hair, every couple of days as opposed to every day. These days, I rinse my head every day. I know I said that in my 3-month. I rinse my head every day, but I don't wash my locks every day. One thing that I do that I noticed that some other people don't do is I do a apple cider vinegar rinse about every, I don't know, a week and a half to 2 weeks at the very most. And that's just because I have a scalp that likes to get irritated really easily. So in order to abate the dander, I just don't do that. But yeah, the itch factor. So that was one thing I really wish I had known about, because it would have contributed to a lot of me wondering what the hell I did to my head before, and thinking that I'd done something wrong when in freeforming because my head was itchy, when in reality that's just the way it is until your scalp gets used to it. And then number 5 finally is the washing routine for your hair. I know you just talked about that, but washing your hair is getting on a plan for washing your hair and starting it before you start your dreads. If you don't do that, your scalp's not going to be used to it when you dread your hair. Whether you're twisting, whether you're interlocking, back combing, twist and rip, whatever you're doing, crocheting, if you're not on a regular wash schedule already that's going to be more conducive to making dreads, then you're going to have to switch to that. And the problem with switching to that is that your scalp's not used to it, so you're going to be a lot of itching, which is going to, physically you're going to be itching out some of your dreads if you've not just freeformed them, so it doesn't really matter as much. That kind of stuff, you have to start ahead of time. So if you're, planning on locking your hair, no matter what method you're using, I always recommend a month. That's what I tell people in person. Like, if you are going to start getting into a good wash routine a month prior to you putting your dreads in, because you're going to notice that there's less itching and that your scalp is more used to it, and also that your hair is more used to it, because naturally your body will produce the amount of oil for your scalp that your scalp needs, unless you have scalp issues. And if you are washing your hair every day, your scalp needs to put more oil so that your scalp doesn't get dried out. And if you don't wash your hair every day, then your scalp is used to not having to produce so much oil to maintain the right oil levels on your scalp. Now, if you start getting into a routine where let's say you only wash once a week, if you rinse your head, that's fine. But if you're only washing once a week, then your scalp will get used to that and start to produce the correct amount of oil for your scalp. So that way your hair isn't oily, but it's also not dry, because you don't want either. You want it to be somewhere in the middle. If it's too dry, your hair will be damaged. It will break off. And if it's too oily, your hair is just not going to lock. But yeah, guys, that's the 5 things that I really wish I had known prior to starting dreads. I wish somebody had told me these things. I know that there are a lot of YouTubers out there that put this stuff up, but it seems to me that people like to ignore the good advice when you're first starting your locks because you just want to get it done. But be patient, because everything in life takes patience. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I really appreciate the views. Comment if there's anything that you feel like you wish you had known before you started your locks. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.